Hi, Gaon. Today I thought we'd start to look at Ngara words. As it so happens, Ngara words do come easy to me, and that is because we have around 3,000 words in the database. A database that ought to be transformed into a published dictionary, but this hasn't happened yet. And here we have a list of introduced animals. I think it's an interesting question what you call a new phenomenon when it is introduced in an area. Often the original name, the name this phenomenon has had in its original context, comes along with it, but this is not always the case. And here we can see that when it comes to introduced animals, the Ngara people got creative. So the northwestern part of Western Australia was opened up for colonization in December of 1862. And with the newcomers, of course, came lots of new things and lots of new animals. However, on this list we only have one English word. This one, believe it or not. This means sheep. And what has happened in Aboriginal languages when they have incorporated English words that include sounds that don't exist in the Aboriginal languages is that they have replaced these sounds with other sounds that they do have and which they have thought sounded similar and or have had the same place of articulation in the mouth. So sh becomes j. Also in Ngara words we see that when an English word is incorporated into Ngara, an English word that ends in a consonant that is not allowed, a word finally in Ngara, the vowel u is added. Why u? Well, we don't know. This has been lost in the mists of time, this information, but evidently this started already in the 1860s, because you see this word, jibu, comes from a Ngara Italian word list from the 1860s by an unknown author. Later this word was replaced by gugurjai. It is unclear what this word means. It has come in from an Aboriginal language. It is an Aboriginal word, but one that does not have a clear etymology in Ngara. There are two words for horse. One, Yoda, that spread up the western coast of Australia with the pidgin English that the settlers and their servants brought along, in the same way that the word Yaraman for horse spread up the east coast of Australia with the pidgin English there. This is a Ngara onomatopoeic word. It is supposed to sound like the horse blowing out air, like this. And this word is Morobaya. And then two words with the suffix jango follow. Jango is the Ngara associative suffix, which means that someone or something is characterized, associated with what comes before. And as it so happens, kara is diarrhea. Now for the early Aborigines, those that encountered cattle for the first time, cattle was an exceedingly strange animal, because you see Australian animals are really good at retaining fluid inside. You may be aware that cattle are not. You may have encountered cow patties, at some point. So cattle got the name Karajango. Now nganjar is a snore or a snort, like that. And perhaps there is someone out there who can guess what animal nganjar jango is. This one is also onomatopoeic, and I actually do think that ngao ngao sounds very similar to English meow meow. Ngao ngao, meow meow. So this is the Ngara word for cat then. And when it comes to dogs, the Aborigines were familiar with dogs already because the dingo had been brought to Australia with the last wave of immigrants before the British, that is. It had been brought as a domesticated animal, and then it had gone feral in Australia. But the Aborigines of Western Australia, they saw the similarities between the dingo and the dogs the Europeans brought along. And so dog and dingo has the same name in Ngara. Yogoro. Yes. And I think that will be all for today. I will soon be back with another video about names for introduced things. So I will see you later.